Hey guys, welcome to Spreadsheet Activity number 17. We are going to be doing some shopping today, so this is kind of fun. I'm going to go ahead and open up what needs to be opened up here. Hang on a sec. Alright, so let's go to the classroom. We're going to kind of be taking what we've already been learning and kind of putting everything together. And there we go. Alright, so before you watch this, you should really read this over to begin with, because there's a lot of details in here that I'm just skipping over because for the sake of time, you guys have to kind of go over them on your own. So just be aware of that as I'm going through these. So I'm probably going to open up mine on another screen here and kind of go through the example with you. So the object here is that I'm giving you $300 to spend, obviously, for pretend. And your job is to go Christmas shopping or birthday shopping, however you want to do it. And you have to spend the money as close as you can without going over the $300. If you happen to go over the $300, it's not a huge deal either. But our spreadsheet's going to show us if we spent too much money. So your job is to, if you look at step number 3 here, is to go online and select 4 different gifts to give as Christmas or birthday presents. And you can use internet catalogs or websites or whatever. But, don't waste your time looking for all these gifts. And you cannot use the same gifts that I'm using. Okay, so I spent some time and I chose these 4 gifts that I have here. Excuse me. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through the steps from beginning to end. I have one already prepared, but I want to show you guys how we can set it up from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move my instruction page and bring in my spreadsheet page. Okay, so first step number 2 at the beginning, we want to set up what our initial spreadsheet with the labels is going to look like. So we want to have the same titles that I have here. Whoop, it helps if you spell them right. MU subtotal, shipping, and total cost. Alright, so what we want to do too is we want these bolded. So I'm going to go back over them and highlight them. This is something that we've done a million times, like so. And I want to put a line underneath. So I go up to my border and I select the bottom. And I want the border to be a little bit wider. So there we go. Okay, so you're going to have to adjust your cell A once you put something in there. So I'm going to skip a line. So I'm going to start in cell A3. And here is my first gift. And notice I have to kind of widen my cell a little bit here. So you guys have to choose your own gifts. These are ones that I chose. Okay, so you cannot use the same ones I have. And just for the sake of time, I'm copying and pasting these from another spreadsheet. All right, so when you do your research, you need to actually research the actual price of each of these items. So I know that the Gorilla Pod is $21.95. Now, one of the things you have to do too is you're going to have to make sure that the columns that are going to have money in them have been been formatted for money. So this is column B. Column B needs to be money, so I'm going to format it as currency. So I click on the B, make sure that it's highlighted in blue, click on currency. Now the amount is the number of objects you're buying, so that does not need to be in currency, okay? But cells D, E, and F, columns D, E, and F, all are going to be in currency as well. So I'm going to highlight all of them like I just did and click on the dollar sign. Okay, so that's one step that you don't have to go back and do later. Okay, now I'm going to put in the prices that I've already used. So this was $21.95. Guitar amp was $125.99. A camel pack for hiking, $32.95. And the puzzle was $16.95. Man, got something in my throat. Okay, so that's the research that you have to do. And your total cost, so this is going to be your total cost here, and I'm going to skip a line. Right here is where I'm going to have my total cost for my Christmas gifts, and right here is the amount of money I have to spend. So if I go in my instruction page, so I want to figure out how many of each of these I want to buy. So let's say I want to buy 2 of these. Remember, I have $300 to spend. 1 of these. Let's go with 3 of these and 1 of these. And I'm just making a guess. I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to spend or not. So this is where you have to remember back to the skills that we've already gone over. So I know that each GorillaPod flexible tripod is $21.95, and I want to buy 2 of them. So I have to remember that I have to put in a formula here to calculate what 2 of those are going to cost. So I always start with my equal sign, and I'm going to multiply cell B3 times cell C3, like so, and I hit enter. All right, and now look at autofill suggestion. Yes, I want to autofill suggest that, so I could click on that here, or we could do the fill down option that we've done in the past. So we click on here, drag it down, and it does the calculations for me. All right. Now, the shipping costs is in step number 7. So step number 7 says since we're ordering online, they don't charge sales tax. However, we do have shipping charges. So the shipping charges are 10%. So what I want to do is, just like I did in the assignment before, I'm going to multiply whatever's in this cell times 10%. So remember, equal sign, D3, and I want to multiply times 10, and then the percent sign is shift and the number 5. So there's my formula for that. So I hit enter, and there we go. And I can autofill this again if I want to. So I can click on there, and there's my autofill. I'm going to zoom in a little bit there too. All right, so there we have. We have our price, we have the amount, we have the formulas. Now if I hit on my control squiggly line, you can see that all of my formulas are in there. So if I know my subtotal and I know my shipping, then calculating the total cost is pretty simple. All right, so I just have to add this number plus this number, but I have to do it as a formula. So it's equals whatever's in D3 plus whatever's in E3, and there's my shipping cost, or my total cost. And again, it's allowing me to, it's suggesting that I autofill, and yes, I do want to do that. That's going to save me a lot of time. So there we go. Okay. All right, so this is where we have to start calculating the total cost of everything together. So let me zoom out just a bit here. And I want to put the total cost right down here. All right, so I'm going to scoot over here. Let's go in this cell here, and I want to put in, so I'm in cell C8 right now, and I'm going to type in total cost of Christmas gifts. All right, and if you chose to put them as birthday gifts, that's up to you as well. I also want to hold that. So there we go. So this is where I put my formula. So this is a sum formula, guys. Remember, we've done this before. So I want to add these 4 numbers together. Remember, your numbers will be different. So do not copy my numbers. You cannot have the same answer that I have. This is just for example. So equals, and I want to put, actually, you know what, I'm going to do an even shorter cut. I want to sum all of these. So I'm just going to hit sum. And I'm just going to hold my mouse button down and select those. And hit enter, and there's my total cost. So remember, I had $300 to spend. So now I have to type in amount too much or amount too little. So the money I have for gifts is going to go under here. So under here I'm going to type in money I have for gifts. Remember, you had $300. Okay. And since I already formatted it for dollars, it automatically did that for me. And I'm going to skip a line and go down here. And I'm going to type in amount too much or too little. So I'm going to know that I don't have enough money if it's a negative number. And I'm going to bold this as well. Okay. So I have to figure this out. So I have to take the amount of money I have and then subtract the amount of money that I spent. And if I have a negative number, which obviously I'm going to, then I've spent too much money. So this equals F9 minus F8. And if I hit enter, there we go. So I have spent too much money. And that's okay, because this is just for fun, for practice. You want to stay as close to $300 as you can. So if I wanted to, I could get rid of one of these things, maybe, and put in a 1 there. And remember, once I change the amount, it's going to change the subtotal, the shipping, and the total cost, which is going to also change the total cost of everything. So there we go. You can see now it's a positive number. So if I only bought one of the tripods, I'm going to end up with $9.89 left over. Okay? But I'm going to put it back the way it was. Maybe I can borrow $14.26 from one of you guys. So that's the assignment. There's, you have to look at the formulas. You have to have all of these formulas here. The only one that you're not going to see a formula in is for the money that you have, because I've already told you that's $300. And then your numbers for the prices and your gifts are going to be different than mine. Okay, but your formulas should all be the same. All right, so that's this assignment. Good luck. The one next class is a lot more complicated. Good luck.